Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Sutasri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Sutasri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We like the second canto. Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. We read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10. Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. Text 22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Namo Bhagavate. Please repeat. Odyamanasya Rishibi Atmanaha Tat Tigrishata Karno Cha Nirabidyatam Disha Shrotram Gunagraha Odyamana Sirishibir Atmanas Tajivishita Karno Cha Nirabidyetam Disha Shrotram Gunagraha Odyamana Sirishibir Atmanas Tajivishita Karno Cha Nirabidyetam Disha Shrotram Gunagraha. Please repeat. Bodhyamanasya, desiring to understand. Rishibi, by the authorities. Atmana, of the Supreme Being. Tat, that. Jigrikshata, when he's desired to take up. Karno, the ears,
the ears,
cha,
cha,
also,
also,
nirabidyatam,
niravidyatam,
became manifested.
became manifested.
Disha,
Disha,
the direction or the god of air.
the direction or the god of air.
Shrotram,
Shrotram,
the power of hearing.
the power of hearing.
Gunagraha,
Gunagraha,
the objects of hearing.
the objects of hearing.
Translation. By development of the desire of the great sages to know, the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing became manifested. The great sages desired to hear about the self. Please repeat. By development of the desire
By development of the desire
of the great sages to know,
of the great sages to know,
the ears,
the ears,
the power of hearing,
the power of hearing,
the controlling deity of hearing,
the controlling deity of hearing,
and the objects of hearing
and the objects of hearing
became manifested.
became manifested.
The great sages desired
The great sages desired
to hear about the self,
to hear about the self,
and that self is a capital S. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, by advancement of knowledge, one should try to know about the Supreme Lord, the summum bonum of everything. So yes, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedya, that by all the Vedas, he is to be known. So that is the conclusion of knowledge. That is the culmination of knowledge, to know Krishna. So again, as stated in the purport, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, by advancement of knowledge, one should try to know about the Supreme Lord, the summum bonum of everything. Knowledge does not mean knowledge only of the laws of nature or physical knowledge, which are working by the direction of the Lord. The scientists are eager to hear about the physical laws working in material nature. They are eager to hear through the medium. Someone's asking the sound be increased. They are,
will make the system safer for riders.
they are eager to hear through the medium of radio and television about things taking place far away from them on other planets. But they should know that the power of hearing and the instruments for hearing were given to them by the Lord for hearing about the self or about the Lord. So the sense of hearing is most important. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Tat Shrinu, just hear from me. And Sri Prahlad, in enumerating the 9 processes of devotional service, Navavidi Bhakti mentions hearing as the first. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. So first is Shravanam, hearing. When a person is dying, all the senses shut down gradually, but the last sense to shut down is the sense of hearing. So hearing is most important. And what should be the subject matter of our hearing? The subject matter should be the Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, Sri Krishna. And we should utilize our time and our sense of hearing for hearing about Krishna, or hearing the holy names of Krishna. Yes, in one talk in Los Angeles, which I like to quote, Srila Prabhupada said, if you've got time, chant Hare Krishna. Don't speak nonsense. Don't waste time. Chant Hare Krishna. So there are many topics for hearing. That's also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. But the topic about which we should hear is Krishna. There are different degrees of hearing or following. But in general, we should focus our attention on hearing about Krishna. So I'll just read a little about hearing from this second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, the first step in God realization. Text 2. Shotavyodini Rajendra Mrinam Santi Sahasrasha Pasyatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. Translation. Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society. O Emperor, purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the revealed scriptures, there are two nomenclatures for the householder's life. One is Grihastha, and the other is Grihamedi. The Grihastas are those who live together with wife and children, but live transcendentally for realizing the ultimate truth. The Grihamedis, however, are those who live only for the benefit of the family members, extended or centralized, and thus are envious of others. The word meti indicates jealousy of others. The Grihamedis, being interested in family affairs only, are certainly envious of others. Therefore, one Griyamedi is not on good terms with another Griyamedi. And in the extended form, one community, society, or nation is not on good terms with another counterpart of selfish interest. In the age of Kali, all the householders are jealous of one another because they are blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth. They have many subject matters for hearing: political, scientific, social, economic, and so on. But due to a poor fund of knowledge, they set aside the question of the ultimate miseries of life, namely, the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. So in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains the process of knowledge. And part of the process of knowledge is Janma Mriti Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshana Darshanam. One should be mindful of the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. That is part of the process of knowledge. And in the human form of life, we should utilize the opportunity to become Krishna conscious and put an end to the repeated cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. And that is possible by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, as given to us by Srila Prabhupada, following Srila Rupa Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna. So we should utilize our sense of hearing for hearing about Krishna. And then text 5, again, Canto 2, Chapter 1, the first step in God realization, Chapter 5, tells us what we should hear. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyas Chechitabayam. O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries, who desires to be free from all miseries. Well, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the Supersoul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the previous verse, Sri Shukadev Goswami has described how the foolish, materially attached men are wasting their valuable time in the improvement of the material conditions of life by sleeping, engaging in sex life, developing economic conditions, and maintaining a band of relatives who are to be vanquished in the air of oblivion. Being engaged in all these materialistic activities, the living soul entangles himself in the cycle of the law of fruitive actions. This entails the chain of birth and death in 8,400,000 species of life. The aquatics, the vegetables, the reptiles, the birds, the beasts, the uncivilized men, and then again the human form, which is the chance for getting out of the cycle of fruitive action. Therefore, if one desires freedom from this vicious circle, then one must cease to act as a karmi or enjoyer of the results of one's own work, good or bad. One should not do anything, either good or bad, on his own, but must execute everything on behalf of the Supreme Lord, the ultimate proprietor of everything that be. This process of doing work is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 9:27 also, where instruction is given for working on the Lord's account. And I will read that verse. Oh, very good. Yat karosi yadasna si yat chuhosi dadasi yat tapasya sikonteya tat karushva madarpanam. Translation. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Thus, it is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstance. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together. And Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Yes, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that those who eat food that is offered to him, those who eat food as remnants of sacrifice, are freed from all sin. Whereas those who eat for their own nourishment or sense gratification without offering the food to Krishna, verily eat only sin. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to perform some ritualistic ceremonies. Therefore, Krishna recommends, do it for me. And this is called Archana. Yeah, that's one of the 9 processes. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Bandhanam, Padasevanam, Archanam. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. And this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized for furthering the Krishna consciousness movement. Nowadays, people are very much inclined to the meditational process, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra round his beads, he is surely the greatest meditator and the greatest yogi, as substantiated in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So yes, that is the conclusion of the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text 47. Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shadavan bhajate yomam sameyuktatamo mataha. Lord Krishna says, of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word bhajate is significant here. Bhajate has its root in the verb bhaj, which is used when there is need of service. The English word worship cannot be used in the same sense as bhaj. Worship means to adore or to show respect and honor to the worthy one. But service with love and faith is especially meant for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can avoid worshiping a respectable man or a demigod and may be called discourteous. But one cannot avoid serving the Supreme Lord without being thoroughly condemned. Every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus every living entity is intended to serve the Supreme Lord by his own constitution. Yes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jiver Swarupai, Krishna and Nityadas. The constitutional position of the living entity is that he is the eternal servant of Krishna. So every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus every living entity is intended to serve the Supreme Lord by his own constitution. Failing to do this, he falls down. The Bhagavatam 11.5.3 confirms this. Ya esham purusham sakshad atma prabhavamishwaram ya bhajanti stanad rasta padantyada. Anyone who does not render service and neglects his duty to the primeval Lord, who is the source of all living entities, will certainly fall down from his constitutional position. In this verse, the word bhajanti is used. Therefore, bhajanti is applicable to the Supreme Lord only, whereas the word worship can be applied to demigods or to any other common living entity. The word avajananti, used in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, is also found in the Bhagavad Gita. Avajananti mam mudha. Only the fools and rascals deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Such fools take it upon themselves to write commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita without an attitude of service to the Lord. Consequently, they cannot properly distinguish between the word bhajanti and the word worship. The culmination of all kinds of yoga practices lies in Bhakti Yoga. All other yogas are but means to come to the point of bhakti in Bhakti Yoga. Yoga actually means Bhakti Yoga. All other yogas are progressions towards the destination of Bhakti Yoga. From the beginning of Karma Yoga to the end of Bhakti Yoga is a long way to self-realization. Karma Yoga, without fruitive results, is the beginning of this path. When Karma Yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation, the stage is called Jnana Yoga. When Jnana Yoga increases in meditation on the Supersoul by different processes and the mind is on him, that is called Astanga Yoga. Yes, at the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Jnana Vastita Tadgatena Manasis Yogina. dhyana meditation, dhyana vastita tadgatena manasi tadyanti yogina. That the goal of meditation is Krishna. When dhyana yoga increases in meditation on the super soul by different physical processes, and the mind is on him, it is called Astanga yoga. And when one surpasses the Astanga yoga and comes to the point of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, it is called Bhakti Yoga, the culmination. Factually, Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal. But to analyze Bhakti Yoga minutely, one has to understand these other yogas. The yogi who is progressive is therefore on the true path of good fortune. One who sticks to a particular point and does not make further progress is called by that particular name. Karma yogi, jnana yogi, or dhyana yogi, raja yogi, hatha yogi, etc. If one is fortunate enough to come to the point of bhakti yoga, it is to be understood that he has surpassed all other yogas. Therefore, to become Krishna conscious is the highest stage of yoga, just as when we speak of the Himalaya, we refer to the world's highest mountains, of which the highest peak, Mount Everest, is considered to be the culmination. It is by great fortune that one comes to Krishna consciousness on the path of Bhakti Yoga to become well situated according to the Vedic direction. The ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shyamsundar, who is as beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is as effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is flower garlanded. Illuminating all sides is his gorgeous luster, which is called the Brahmajyotir. He incarnates in different forms, such as Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he descends like a human being, as the son of Mother Yashoda, and he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudeva. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, and master. And he is full with all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. So we may want a perfect child, a perfect husband, a perfect friend, a perfect master, and that can all be fulfilled in a relationship with Krishna. This stage of highest perfection in yoga can be attained only by Bhakti Yoga, as is confirmed in all Vedic literature. Yasya deve parabhaktir yata deve tata guru tasyati katita hyartha prakashakti mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Once Srila Prabhupada asked a disciple, what is the most important verse in the Vedic literature? And the disciple replied, Harinama, Harinama, Harinami Vikevalam, Kalona Steva, Nasteva, Nasteva, Gatiranyata. And Srila Prabhupada replied, no. And then he quoted this verse that we just read in the purport, Yasya deve para bhaktir tata deve tata guru. That is the most important verse. Yes. Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata guru Tasyaite katita yartha prakashanti mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Svetasvatara Upanishad 6:23. So Srila Prabhupada said that is the most important verse in the Vedic literatures. Bhakti rasya bhajanam tad iham mudropadi nairashyanam mana kalpanam etad eva naiskarmyam. Bhakti means devotional service to the Lord, which is free from desire for material profit, either in this life or in the next. Devoid of such inclinations, one should fully absorb the mind in the Supreme. That is the purpose of Naiskarmya, Gopal Tapani Upanishad 1:15. These are some of the means for performance of bhakti or Krishna consciousness, the highest perfectional stage of the yoga system. So again, coming back to hearing, just to repeat Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, the first step in God realization, text 5, Tasmad Bharata Sarvat Maha Bhagavan Ishwaro Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Spartavyascha Chachebayam, a descendant of King Bharata. One who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries. And just to come to the end of the purport, we discussed some of it already. So this process of hearing about and glorifying the Lord is applicable for everyone, whoever he may be. And it will lead one to the ultimate success in everything in which one may be engaged by providence. There are many classes of human beings: the fruitive workers, the empiric philosophers, the mystic yogis, and ultimately the unalloyed devotees. For all of them, one and the same process is applicable for achieving the desired success. Everyone wants to be free from all kinds of fear, and everyone wants the fullest extent of happiness in life. The perfect process for achieving this here and now is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is uttered by such a great authority as Srila Shukadeva Goswami. By hearing about and glorifying the Lord, all a person's activities become molded into spiritual activities, and thus all conceptions of material miseries become completely vanquished. So, my dear devotees, today's verse is very important because it discusses hearing, discusses the ear and the function of hearing. And we should use the faculty of hearing to hear about Krishna. And that will purify our heart and fulfill all of our desires. So yes, we should utilize every moment as far as possible either for chanting Hare Krishna or for hearing about Krishna or speaking about Krishna. And that will cleanse our hearts. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Srinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. Just hearing about Krishna is a pious activity, or just hearing about Krishna makes us pious. And the Lord, who is the well-wishing friend of the honest devotee, from within the heart, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment. And then the only desire left is to serve Krishna. So my dear devotees, thank you very much for listening so patiently and attentively. Now, if any of you have questions, you can raise your hand, your physical hand, or your virtual hand, and we will discuss further. Yes, I see Lalita Devi, Anila Jajodia has her hand raised.
Yes, you may go ahead and unmute.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Sorry.
Guru Maharaj, sometimes the way instructions are written or spoken, it makes the process sound very automatic. When you yourself and had said in a class that perhaps there's nothing automatic, and with some effort we understand that there is lot of conscious effort and minute free will that needs to be used to keep oneself aligned to the right orientation. So just wanted to hear from you, because it seems with some years of practice is that conditionings reign supreme inside and outside, and they are not good.
As far as automatic, it would depend on how you apply the term. Burijan Prabhu, my dear godbrother Burijan Prabhu, wrote a whole essay on the subject of automatic. One, as you said, one needs to make a conscious effort. One has free will, minute independence, and the Lord does not interfere with our minute independence. At the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, and now you have heard everything, now you do as you wish. Yatechasi tataku, you do as you wish. So the Lord gives us that independence. And Arjuna used his free will properly. And he says, Smriti Labda, now I have regained my memory, and Yatechasi, Karashe Vachanam Tava, I'm prepared to act according to your direction. So that is our free will. We can choose to follow Krishna's instructions or not. Yeah, but if we're intelligent and fortunate, we will use our minute intelligence as Arjuna decided at the end of Bhagavad Gita. Akarishye Vachanam Kavan, prepared to act according to your direction.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Anyone else with a question, comment? Chandrika, please give me unmute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Grace to Shri, all grace to divine. Thank you very much for the wonderful class, Guru. Actually, I was wondering that we have the 9 types of devotional service, Shravanam Kirtan, which you discussed so nicely in the class. I was wondering in which type does the service to Vaishnavas?
I would say Padasevana, because the Vaishnavas are situated at the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus serving the Vaishnavas is Padasevana.
Thank you very much. Actually, I also kind of had another question, but it's not kind of related to this book. It was a similar purport that I was reading yesterday, where Prabhupada mentioned, it's from the 4th canto, chapter 28, where Prabhupada mentioned that he mentioned these 9 processes of devotional service. And he said that for a neophyte, they should do the first 7. And then, like he was mentioning Vidhi Marga, Raga Marga. And he said that the first 7 come under Vidhi Marga. And then the Sakyam. He mentioned that the first 7 of the devotional types of devotional processes come under Vidhi Marga. And then the Sakyam and Atmanavedam, the remaining 2 come under the Raga. And he said that that actually a preacher should, like the preacher should be on the level of the last 2, and but at the same time we see that we are instructed to like spread Krishna consciousness at whatever stage we are. And in the next purport, Srila Prabhupada does say that we must spread Krishna consciousness to what So I was just wondering that how do we kind of how do we kind of understand this? It's an apparent contradiction, but
Well, Sakyam can be understood in different ways. And yes, one way is one has a direct relationship in Sakya Ras with Krishna. But Sakyam can also mean, accepting Krishna as your friend, or being a friend to Krishna by trying to fulfill his desires, that all the fallen souls should come to him, and that's by preaching Krishna consciousness, you are a friend to Krishna. And Atmanivedana, surrendering yourself, that can be done from the beginning. I think that you are eligible. Every devotee is eligible to preach. Sorry?
Say it's your mercy, Guru Maharaj, and mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Keep preaching.
Thank you, Chandrika Mataji, for the beautiful question. So, Damodar Krishna Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, I have 2 questions. First is we understand that Srila Prabhupada many times says that I am in my books. So how can we see Srila Prabhupada in his books in his instructions? And then the second question is, when we read, how can we see that the instruction is coming from Srila Prabhupada, and that can bring in us the purification, instead of just knowing the story or just knowing the theory? How can that theory, or like how can that instruction bring in us the purification as well?
Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada's books are alive, and he is present in them. He's speaking to us. And again, my dear God brother Dorijan Prabhu wrote a very nice essay on prayerful reading. And the idea of prayerful reading is while reading, you should be praying to get some instruction from Srila Prabhupada, from the Parampara, that you can apply in your life for your benefit. So when we read, we should be in a prayerful mood to find instructions that apply to us and that we can utilize in our daily lives. And what was the second question?
That how can we see Srila Prabhupada in his books, even though we hear that Srila Prabhupada says that I am in my books? How can we see Srila Prabhupada in his books?
Oh, well, I mean, Srila Prabhupada is speaking to us, so that so that means he's there. If he's speaking to us, it means he's there. Yeah. You should appreciate his merciful presence in his wonderful books. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Damodara Krishna Prabhu, for those questions. Actually, Maharaj, when you were helping us swim through the transcendental ocean of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, because you took us through Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and as we were reading the purpose, I said, wow. Srila Prabhupada said he said everything in his books, and it's true. So many things that I was not quite clear about them, as we went through them, they became much clearer to me. So, like to Damodara Krishna Prabhu's question, we can see Srila Prabhupada in those purposes.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you anyway. So we go to Achana Gupta. Mataji, please, you'll be on mute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. All
Hare.
glories to you and Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, first of all, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for accepting me as your aspiring disciple and giving me this opportunity to join your online classes and talk to you directly. Thank you so much. Guru Maharaj, my concern is yes, out of the 9 processes of devotional service, hearing is my favorite process. But, however, I do my hearing throughout the day, continuing my household chores. So is that considered offensive? Because we have certain protocols to follow while we chant. So do we have protocols to follow while we hear also? Is it offensive to hear Srimad Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavad Gita while doing other activities and not, though I'm paying rapt attention to what I hear, but still the attention is divided between the chores and the hearing process. So is it considered offensive?
No, it's not offensive. It's desired that you hear, even while you're doing your household chores, you hear, and that will, purify and elevate your consciousness. And it's not a problem that you're also doing household duties at the same time. No problem at all. It's good that
Alright,
you
thank you.
get the opportunity to hear more. Wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for this clarification. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, Archana Gupta Mataji, thank you for your question. And Maharaj, thank you for the answer, because Mataji's question applies to me also, because I also used to think, because sometimes when I'm here trying to host this program, sometimes somebody will be asking me questions and kind of throwing my little absorption on the speaker to try to answer this person's question. And I would wish that I don't have anything to do with anybody at all, just listening. But it doesn't work very much often that way. But it's interesting and very beautiful to understand that all is not lost, even if there is some sort of divided attention. Thank you for such answer. Well, I do not read Sanskrit, so I cannot mention your name. But whoever has your hand up, please, you may unmute. And then you go ahead to ask your question or speak.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. It's Prakhar Dubey. I have written in Hindi. So my question is that if a devotee is aspiring to take initiation from Guru Maharaj, then but if the Maharaj departs and he feels actually very much connected to that particular Maharaj, then how should he actually deal with this situation, and how shall he feel that how will he get connected with that Maharaj, like especially regarding initiation and future?
Well, of course, he cannot take initiation from the spiritual master who has left the world. But that spiritual master can still be his Shiksha Guru, and he can still take instruction from that spiritual master who has left the world. And in choosing a living spiritual master, he can look for someone who will support and encourage his relationship with the departed spiritual master. I think it would be good for the spiritual master who will initiate you. I'm saying you, whoever. But it would be good if the spiritual master who's going to initiate you is aware of your connection with the departed spiritual master and is prepared to support and encourage you in your relationship with the departed spiritual master.
Thank you so much, man.
And if possible, you can accept someone as a spiritual master who is close to the departed spiritual master as well.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the beautiful answer. Anyone else with something to ask or to share? Oh, Srimad Radha Acharya Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Okay, Sahadev, I need to go for a minute. I'll be right back.
Thank you, Maharaj. So, Srimad Radha Prabhu, please hold on for a minute.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
I love that clip.
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. So, Srimad Bharata Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Dandava Pranam Maharaj. Please accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for the wonderful Sangha. My question actually is concerning the Prabhu who asked how we can see Prabhupada in his books. That question kind of sparked off some memory in my mind. My Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Swami Maharaj, he used to say, you can associate with the acharyas, all the saintly persons mentioned in the holy books. You can, just by reading these books, touching them, you are associating with Narada, you are associating with Shukadev Goswami. Even if you have nobody around you to associate with, by reading these books and hearing about this person, you are already in their association. So I remember that. My Guru used to say that. Then the second thing that comes to my mind, it's when I started associating with devotees, and I didn't know much. I was studying the books and I loved them. So I had one day an inspiration to offer my food, and I didn't know the process. I just had the desire to offer my food, and I had Prabhupada Beyond Birth and Death with Prabhupada's picture at the back of it. And when I finished preparing my food, I brought it to the shelf, my bookshelf, where Prabhupada's picture was on that book, and I put the food in front of Prabhupada. I was just happy that I'm giving my food to Prabhupada. I had no idea how to offer food. It just came to me that I have to share my food with Prabhupada. So I mean, I'm thinking about this as there's some truth. There is some truth in the fact that Prabhupada is in his books, but it's just that, we cannot limit it there. We have to go further by accepting a living spiritual master. But there's no doubt that the saintly persons mentioned in these books and Prabhupada himself, they are physically present in these books. That is just what I want to share as my experience and what my Guru Maharaj said. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Srimad Bharata Prabhu. It's very beautiful. Yeah, well, Srila Prabhupada himself has said, sometimes some people think that Srila Prabhupada was kind of monotonous, like he repeats same thing over and over. But if we have been with a blacksmith before, Srila Prabhupada himself says that a blacksmith will be hammering a metal to form the shape to a particular shape that he's looking for. And he'll keep hammering until the shape has been achieved. So Srila Prabhupada keeps telling us, chant, 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 chant. It may sound repetitive, but that is just what we need to hear. Srila Prabhupada has said so many times, the guru has disciples, and the disciple become guru, and then the guru takes disciples. So it's a chain. So sometimes, doesn't matter. I'm sorry, Maharaj. Like I was saying, when you were taking us through Srila Prabhupada's purpose, and I was saying how Srila Prabhupada himself has said so many important things to us. And I was looking at myself, where do I fall into? And I saw so many places where I fall into, where I sometimes take so much pleasure in social topics, in politics, and less interest in divine knowledge as we are doing now. So on social media as we have today, so many people say so many things. And I think it's very important we pay very close attention to what we hear on social media, because some can be very deceptive and distracting. That Srila Prabhupada is in his books, so you don't need any physical guru. It doesn't make... Maharaj is here, so I'll be careful with my choice of words, but it doesn't make sense, to say the least. Thank you, devotees. And Manjari Gopika, please give me on mute.
I just want to say something.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Basically what you said. It's about a taste for Krishna consciousness. And I quote from Sri Upadeshamrita, text 7. Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapata Sasayana Rochikanu Kintvada Radha Nudinam Kalsaiva Justa Svadvi Kramad Bhavati Tad Kadamulahantri. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet, like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. So yeah, in the 1970s, I actually had jaundice in India. And it's true that sweet things taste bitter when you have jaundice. But, you know, the Ayurvedic cure for jaundice is sugar candy. So even though it's bitter, you take it as a medicine. And as the medicine acts and you gradually return to good health, the sugar candy tastes sweeter and sweeter. And then when you're completely cured, you can taste it as it is, which is sweet, like nectar. So we take it as a medicine, even if it seems bitter. And by taking the medicine, our disease, our ignorance, avidya, identifying with the body, and so on, will be cured. And then we can taste the sweet nectar of hearing and chanting about Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for quoting that verse. Padmaksha Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and your divine grace. I have one reflection and I have a question as well. The reflection is that recently I was joined the Bhakti Sadachar course from Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education. And we are kind of starting with this reading reform. And in the course, they are mentioning that if you want to read Srila Prabhupada books, because many of them, especially myself also, like I'm complaining, like I'm not able to read the books, Srila Prabhupada books. So in the course, they are mentioning that if you understand the troubles that Srila Prabhupada went through in writing these books, and so many times, like I think the fourth time Srila Prabhupada got an opportunity to publish the Bhagavad Gita previously, so he lost so many manuscripts and everything. So if you know the struggles that Srila Prabhupada went through in publishing this, printing these books, then we'll get that interest to, okay, read the books instead of like, can hold these books. That's one of the things I just want to share.
Thanks.
Yeah. And the question is, Guru Maharaj, as they say, like the purity is the force, when we hear the lips from the pure devotees like yourself and other Maharajas, we feel like the same purports if you read it, and we don't get the similar kind of taste and interest. And when you visited Columbus at the first time, 2019, that when you were explaining about your journey into Krishna consciousness, how you connect to the devotees, immediately I got connected to you, and I don't know, like, because I may heard the similar pastime from other devotees, but I didn't feel that. But when I hear the similar pastimes from pure devotees' mouth, it was like feeling like it was so much exciting and very interested also. And what is the thing? I don't know what is I'm missing, because when I read those things, purports, I am not getting the similar kind of taste. So what to do in this case, Guru Maharaj?
Yes, well, in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami has enumerated 64 items of devotional service. And he says that of the 64, 5 are most potent, and even a slight association with any one of the 5 can awaken love for Krishna. So what are the 5? Sadhu Sangha, Bhagavat Shravanam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Sadhu Sangha, Bhagavat Shravana, Mathura Vasa, residing in Mathura or Vrindavan or Navadvip or Maya. Sevana, serving the deity with faith and veneration. So the first item is Sadhu Sangha, and Rupa Goswami gives a very specific definition of Sadhu Sangha. He says, Swajati Ashaye Snigde Sadhu Sangha Swatovare. So Swajatiya, in a literal sense, means belonging to the same caste or community. But in our case, Swajatiya would mean a follower of Srila Prabhupada. Swajati Ashaye Snigde. And Snigde means that the sadhu should be affectionate to you. And Swajati Ashaye Snigde Sadhu Sangha Swatovare. And Swatovare means that the sadhu should be more advanced than you. So in the association of a sadhu, as defined by Srila Rupa Goswami, the other processes come to life more. So yeah, Sadhu Sangha is very important. And then all the other items, Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana, Bhagavad Shravana, Matharavasa, and Srimati Shradaya Sevana. Those other four processes come to life through Sadhu Sangha.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Maharaj. Padmaksha, did you want to say something? You may unmute.
No, thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Oh, okay, Hare Krishna. Well, Maharaj, actually, what Padmaksha Prabhu said, I was feeling the same thing because I had read the text before we met here today. And when you were reading, I was thinking to myself, is this the same text I read? And I was surprised. I don't know whether because you were reading or the way you were reading it, it kind of brought so much insight to me about the text than when I read it myself. And I would like to ask you one question from what I learned when you were reading it. When I read it, I didn't catch it. So if I may put the verse here and I'll ask my question from it. It says the development of the desire of the great sages to know, excuse me, the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing became manifested. The great sages desired to hear about the self. So as you were reading, and this caught my attention. I said, hey, the great sages, they desired to know. Usually when somebody wants to know something, it says, the way, like in material sense, we say seeing is believing. So everybody wants to see. But there is no mention of seeing. Everything mentioned here is hearing, 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 hearing. So, which means that whatever we want to know begins with hearing. So, Maharaj, my question is, how can we, it's very interesting, Achana Gupta said hearing is her most favorite of the 9 processes. How can we develop this sense of hearing? Because we all want to know, but we're getting the hint that the secret of knowing everything is through hearing. How do we develop the taste of hearing, Maharaj?
Yes, everything begins from hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarana. The first is hearing. And again, as I read that verse from the Upadeshamrita, even if it doesn't taste sweet in the beginning, but if we take it as a medicine, then gradually we'll be cured of our disease of jaundice or avidya, ignorance, which really begins with identifying with the body. And then it will become sweeter and sweeter. And then when we're cured of our disease of avidya or the jaundice, then we can taste the holy name and qualities and pastimes of the Lord as they are. It's sweet like nectar. So we do it, we take it as a medicine. Take it as a medicine. Prescribe it to the doctor.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Anyone else with something to ask before Maharaj leaves for the day? Well, like Maharaj said, we thank you all for your rapt attention and your patience to sitting down at one place and hearing the transcendental messages from the scriptures. In fact, Maharaj, one devotee had offered his pranams to you in the chat room. It says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, I got the opportunity to have your darshan first time in Ujjain. This is your aspirant servant, Prakhar Prabhu. So Prakhar Prabhu is offering his obeisances, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prakhar. Thank you for joining.
Yes. Maharaj, on behalf of my humble self, I don't know if I'm humble anyway, but on behalf of myself and I believe the devotees in general, we will humbly request that you pray for spiritual strength for all the disciples and friends and well wishers of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Because there is nothing as painful in this world as losing the personal, direct, physical association with your Guru Maharaj. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking from theory. So I understand it's very difficult, but by the mercy and the prayer of the Guru, the devotees, such devotees can be helped. So in our humble request that Maharaj, you pray for the disciples, well-wishers, and friends of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Will. I have been doing so, and I will continue to do so. In fact, I'm keeping his picture
Hare Krishna.
in my temple room here. Yes, when he comes in my temple room to chant with me, or they see his picture. And, yeah, it's a great loss.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. With that being said, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to... Oh, okay. Before we do that, Maharaj, do you have any concluding words before we finally bring this to a close?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Maharaj. So, dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant the loudest Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj for being here with us, sharing his love and wisdom with us all. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
All glories to His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. Jai. Vaishnava devotees. All glories to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki. Jai. Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai.
Radha Prabhu ki jai.
So, as usual, I would like to end with Vaishnava Pranam. I did hear some devotees
Okay.
their own, but I would like to end with that.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.